Why is this doing this? All right, everybody, welcome. So can you hit record? Good? All right, welcome, folks, to Rocky Mountain Roller Derby. My name is Chai Kielski. I'll be calling this first game today. We've got 4 games for you today. The theme is Our Flag Means Derby, because it's Pride Month. Happy Pride. Have a gay day. If you are in the chat, let me know if you cannot hear us. And I am working on the view here. And we shall see. But let me go ahead and say this because we are recording Skating in Black. We do have Skating in White. We do have Elevated Roller Derby All-Stars. 1-0 Banff. 1-1 Killer Queen. 1-3-1-3 Horticia Adams. 1-5 Harley Darlin. 2-4-8. Oh, just going to scooch on past you there. 3-2-1 Rocket. 3-4 Fighting Girlfriend. 4-1-4 Lost Near Thighs. 4-5 Nikki Six Shooter. 505 Swearin' Marie. 80 Meep Meep. 9 Kelt's Inferno. 909 Tsunami. And 999 Amanda Jamininya. All right, skating for Wasatch Roller Derby in black today. 000 Booty Queen. 1039 Lavender Menace. 22 Off the Rails. 25 Knuckles. 254 Ultra Violent. 314 Bip. 39 Who. 394 Skates and Ladders. 444 Heartbreaker, 569 Fruit Smacks, 626 Witch Slapped, 7734 Eve Hell, 777 Colonel Skirts, 801 Orange Crusher, 89 Apollo, 93 Devil's Ivy, and 999 Glow Job. Our officials today are Bill of Fights, Ultraviolet Blue, Snarky Meaty, Speedster, Serotonin, Ref of Ice, and Stack Trace, Like Cat, Active Sonar. All right, that is the first jam live. We do have Fighting Girlfriend on the line for Elevated first up, but it is going to be Devil's Ivy, your first lead jammer for Wasatch Roller Derby. So watching this footage, you know, we want to see these games are pretty evenly matched, but Wasatch has some results lately that make us wonder. Elevated not coming in as the highest seed originally, but by the time we're starting Roller Derby today, Elevated is now the high seed of the day. So we'll have to see what happens. We did see Wasatch lose pretty big to Bay Area. And then we did see some elevated games against Arizona Rising the other day. We've got a cut track call on a pivot as a jammer. Oh, that's tough. Swearin' Marie took the star for Elevated, but now is in the box as a jammer. First power jam and first lead of the game do go to Wasatch and Devil's Ivy. And of course, Elevated Roller Derby visiting us from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Wasatch visiting us from Salt Lake City. It is pretty bright with these windows in here. It's going to get worse, so we're going to try and make sure we do a good play-by-play sort of deal, so we can always know what is happening. So Elevated starting disadvantaged with their jammer in the box. Knuckles on the line for Wasatch. Big lateral moves there. It finds a way through on the outside line, takes that lead jammer status as Swearin Marie is released from the box as the jammer of record for Elevated. And I see a direction now on a blocker, I believe. Yep, that is the Elevated pivot this time. So two penalties for 2 pivots. Two penalties for 2 pivots. And we are going to see some more points on the board here for... Are we at the end of the jam? Maybe some points. I see 1 jam ref. And of course, our on-skates officials today, we've got Arson, Primeval, Thomas the Dank Engine, Mantis, Mycological Warfare, Marquis Sass, Rocco, and Battlein. Fighting Girlfriend has the pivot in hand, but everybody yells, hey, she's in the box. So Fruit Smack's going to start for Wasatch. And that is 1-0 BAMF, B-A-M-P-F, exclamation point for Elevated Roller Derby. Thank you for joining us in the chat. Thank you, Icebox. Nice to see you. Are you not here today? Are you at home? And then 78 Flipside, Happy Pride, we rise together, ERD. Okay, so we got New Mexico in the chat. Let's see if we get some Salt Lake. We didn't really advertise this because I didn't know if it was going to work, if we're being honest. Five, 6, 9 on the line for Wasatch. That is Fruit Smacks and BAMF for Elevated, and that is going to be Fruit Smacks. Again, lead jammer here. I believe that it's the 3rd lead in a row. 3rd lead in a row for Wasatch. Again, interesting. Interesting if you've watched some of the footage that's been posted in the last couple of months here for both of these teams. So maybe Wasatch is like, all right, we've had a few knocks. Let's get it together. Let's do this. 7-3-4 Eve Hill on the jammer line for Wasatch. So this is a new jammer. I don't remember seeing her in my footage review. Hey, and guys, if you know pronouns, tell me if I get anything wrong. I always want to know the answer. We don't have pronouns today, so if I get something wrong, let me know. I'm going to try and just say skater names. And positions if I can, if I don't know the real answer here. But that is Eve Hell, again, lead jammer for Wasatch. 4th lead in a row for Wasatch. However, Meet out of the pack. Coming in fast, but again, Wasatch not going to allow Elevated to score. Even if they don't get all 4, that's okay. Now we are 15 up, 15-0. Elevated. All right, let me see what I can do here. Trying to make sure I see the chat, although you guys are pretty quiet, so I might X out of here unless y'all get lively. There we go. I'm going to try and put this over here. Yeah. All right, we got EPLT, we got all the fun stuff going on today. Next jam is live. This is number 5. They've sent out jam number 4, actually. We've sent out Glow Job, but jam ended. Thighs was sent out for Elevated. Maybe an officiating thing. Official timeout. This is jam 5, right? This is jam 5, right? Shouldn't it be? Okay. It was staying on jam 4. They didn't start it, so like. Okay. Yeah, it looks like we had a little bit of a jam timing problem. I've got my teammate Peach announcing the game aloud behind me. The bar is open. It is 5 o'clock somewhere. All right. Let me check. Well, while we have a moment, let me go ahead and check some camera things out. We just have to fix the thing with the thing. There we go. Gotta have it. We've got to have it. You know, I'm just gonna put it in the middle. We got a lot of ceiling in the video, so just gonna do it. I think we'll be okay. All right, we are back. This is Jam 5. No, Jam 6 now, I guess. That's what we're doing. And then we do have a lead jammer. That is going to be Glow Job for Wasatch. Again, every single jam so far has gone to Wasatch. Lost in Your Thighs, jamming for Elevated, went right to the box. You know, these things do happen. All the officials are standing in the way of the pack. I need everybody to move a little bit into turn 2. That would be great. Here we go. Here we go. My favorite spot. Zoom out. Can you zoom out? Thanks. We got the whole pack now coming into turn 3. Nice. Show us their feet, too. There we go. Sorry, is it not? Can it just not zoom in anymore? Zoom out anymore? Okay. All right. All right. Sorry, we're still figuring some stuff out. It should be make for fun footage later. All right, here we are. We've got Devil's Ivy back on the line for Wasatch. We got Fighting Girlfriend now, first time with the star for Elevated, and that is going to be Fighting Girlfriend there, finding some space on the outside line, using her own pack as a positional sort of help. Devil's Ivy had lead first, the first time she was out, but Elevated finally breaking the lead drought they've been having. Devil's Ivy back in the pack. So again, Elevated, this is their first lead, but Wasatch is still going to score on this jam. Devil's Ivy, very strong skater I saw in the footage. Always moving forward, finding those spaces very fast. But when you take away the speed, it definitely gets a little harder. So Fighting Girlfriend had lead, got sucked back into the pack a bit, but did get those 4 points on the board finally here for Elevated Roller Derby. 24-4, Wasatch definitely in the lead. 23 on the clock in the first half. Beautiful. You love to see it. So it is Fighting Girlfriend here with 2 to beat, including the pivot for Wasatch. That is Booty Queen. Booty Queen is, I don't know, I think Booty Queen's Derby famous. And she has just taken the star, a stalwart Wasatch player. Coming in, got that star pass. So Devil's Ivy did have the star. Probably got some points for that pass. Ended up handing the star off to Booty Queen. Fighting Girlfriend is still lead jammer. Has not decided to call it off until just now. Getting those 4 points. Gonna hold Booty Queen and Wasatch down to 7. So we got 12-7 jam, up 5. So Elevated finally with those points on the board, 12-31. So Elevated definitely, they want to win this game. They're trying to win this game. They need to win this game. And scoring points is going to be more important than giving up a few to Wasatch. So this is time to change the momentum. So Fighting Girlfriend now giving Elevated a chance to take charge here. We've got 1-0. That is Bamf back on the line for Elevated, and 25 Knuckles for
Bamf. Badass.
Sorry, I got announcers behind me. I got camera people. We're all doing it. We're all making it work. Hell yeah. Welcome. So now we do have a lead jammer. Knuckles for Wasatch again. So Fighting Girlfriend got them their one lead jam. And Elevated not capitalizing on the next one. So again, Wasatch wants this win. Knuckles is through for 4. We did see Bamf get out. Again, it behooves Wasatch to hold them scoreless. So, yeah. No, not yet. I want to see more floor than ceiling. I see more ceiling. Yeah. Cool. Up next, Fruit Smacks on the line. We've got Meep Meep. Meep Meep for Elevated. Normally one of their very swiftest jammers, but I think, Wasatch has been studying. Sometimes it be like that. You got to knock people off of balance to get through. And that is lead. A very quick lead call. Maybe a little too soon. Keep an eye on these officials, guys. There's the game you're playing with other people, and then there's the game you're playing with the officials. And then here's Fruit Smacks trying to get out. Got the star in hand, doing a little hoppity hop, not moving forward as much as you might like, so it's giving Elevated time to reset when she takes those lateral moves. We are going to see Witch Slapped going to the box for Wasatch. I don't appear to have any duplicate numbers on this. Nope, we've got 2 999s, so I got to make sure I call the right one there. Oh, big struggle here in the back, that big elevated tripod. I think we're going to see, yep, here's an out of illegal position on Booty Queen. Has to free Meep Meep, who is the lead jammer. So second lead now for Elevated in 9 jams, second lead. That's crazy. So Wasatch definitely, I'm going to make my note for the first 10 jams and see who gets what. Meep Meep finally gets through, but I think, no, Fruit Smacks finally gets through. Meep Meep with 2 to beat. Figures may as well go for it. Gonna get 4 more for Elevated here. Again, they need to catch up. They need to get those points. And Elevated they did let Fruit Smacks go eventually, but this is her first scoring pass, and there's only 15 seconds left in the jam. Meep Meep's already scored 12 points, proving that she is one of the highest scoring jammers here for Elevated already. Gonna have to beat Fighting Girlfriend's 12 points in the first lead that Elevated got. Okay, Wasatch does pick up 3 at the end here. 13 for Elevated, bringing that score up 25 to 38. 18-12 on the clock. I don't know. Hold on. Tell people if they want to comment on video, they have to get in the chat. Let's see. Widescreened. All right, I will work on that video setting. Thank you. But right now we got another jam, Eve Hell versus Lost New Thighs. Thighs for Elevated, Eve Hell for Wasatch. So second jam for Eve Hell. Second jam, I believe, for Thighs. I'm not counting that aborted 5th jam. We've got a lead jammer. That is Eve Hell for Wasatch. So first 10 jams, guys. Wasatch picking up 8 of those leads. Elevated with only 2 of those. And now we're going to have a power jam for Wasatch. Second jammer penalty now. Second power jam, second jammer penalty for Elevated in jam number 10. So, I don't know. Guys, if I'm Elevated, I think at this point, I'm going to call a team timeout. And tell my folks to maybe get it together. Let's see. All right, I'm going to fix this camera angle. It's going to get better. I'm going to make it fit my screen and everything. So we've got everybody in turn 3, now my favorite spot. As more people get tired and the day goes on, I think we're going to see more action in turn 3. This is just based on my completely anecdotal evidence because I play here all the time. You're welcome. Oh, I love it. 10 out of 10. We got Hortensia Madams on the outside line, having to recycle back all the way behind turn 3. And we see a back block now, assessed to Rocket. Jam comes to an end. Eve Hell, heck of a jam. Picks up some more points. 10 points for Wasatch, hanging on to that lead, 46-25. We're at 15:45 on the clock. Oh, yeehaw, yeehaw, yeehaw. Huge thanks to my camera operators who are here all day. This would not be this fun without you. Another lead jammer for Wasatch. That is Glow Job with that lead status. Fighting Girlfriend started as the jammer, has passed the star. That is now Kel's Inferno with the star on hand. Glow Job going to try and get some points. So Elevated deciding maybe now if they can't get out, they're going to pass the star, make sure the star gets out, force those call-offs. All right. Again, another lead for Wasatch and Devil's Ivy. Wow. Chat. All right, here we go. Next jam coming up. Going into jam number 13. Meet back on the line for Elevated Roller Derby. Fruits and Snacks. We've got ourselves a palindrome score right now. You're welcome. You're welcome. We had nothing to do with it, but we'll accept it. Meet does get lead, so this is the 3rd lead now total, I think, for Elevated. If they do want to win this game, they're going to have to get some more of these lead calls, or at least capitalize a little harder when Wasatch has the lead. And we are going to see one Wasatch blocker in the box. I'm going to see if I can, if there's a timeout, I'm going to see if I can figure out why EPLT is not pushing out names for us. Meet on a scoring pass. Fruit Smacks still almost on the outside line, knocked out by 3-2-1 Rocket. Everybody moving now into turn 3. All right, that is Meep Meep, 4 points. 8 points total for this jam for Elevated. So Meep Meep knows she needs to run this. She's got to get those points. And I'm sure everybody's hoping Wasatch will tire out a little bit by the half, but I don't know, guys. This is a nice defensive game. It's going to be nice and close. This is probably going to be a game of who capitalizes on that second half fatigue, who's up to it and who's not quite there. We're losing Nikki Six Shooter to the box for Elevated. And finally here, a call off from Meep Meep. One more point on that, 9-8 jam, so got points, but again, when you got that lead, you need your defense to really lock it in on the opposing jammer. 9-8, 34-60, 11:24 on the clock. Thank you for joining us on Saturday morning. This is Rocky Mountain Roller Derby. You're watching Rocky Mountain Roller Derby Twitch. Rocky Mountain RD, tell your friends. We don't do this a lot, but the next time I think we will stream will be Westerns. That'll be fun. Lost in Your Thighs now up for Elevated, but it is going to be Knuckles, who is your lead jammer. Thank you, Mantis. This is a little bit of a learning opportunity for some of our refs today, so if you're seeing some late call-offs and some interesting stuff, it is a training day for sure. So, nice hop, but no points. And 1 point picked up for Wasatch. Again, they're more interested in holding Elevated scoreless than making sure they get all 4. Devil's Ivy back on the lineup against Fighting Girlfriend. So this should be good. Fighting Girlfriend is a really smart jammer. We'll see. She's been finding space on the outside line. Everybody has, honestly. Devil's Ivy trying for it, but having to recycle. And we're going to see a multi-assist to Booty Queen. I think that's number 3 for her. Fighting Girlfriend, another lead. So far, the leadingest jammer for Elevated. Devil's Ivy not through on the initial yet. Still looking for that outside line. I don't think she's going to find it with this Elevated crew. Fighting Girlfriend coming through. Again, trying the outside line. Wasatch not as sharp on it, but they're not slacking. They're definitely watching. So she's going to have to touch this pack before they let her out. Defense held down by that brace there. That is number 22 off the rails. Going to see a little recycling here. 626, keeping an eye on that inside line, hoping to play some offense for Devil's Ivy, while also, again, keeping an eye on Fighting Girlfriend. Devil's Ivy finds a way through. Ooh, knocked out. And the inside line by Nikki Six Shooter. In the footage, maybe that's going to look like a forearm later, but there is no call. So perhaps nice and legal. Shoulder contact. And that is it. 4 points there after a lot of work in turn 4 by Devil's Ivy. Fighting Girlfriend is still your lead jammer with 2 to beat, but I think she's going to get those points. And Devil's Ivy, again, giving up points, getting Elevated stuck. That is going to be not an illegal position, but that was close for Harley Darlin. Devil's Ivy with 4 on the board. Fighting Girlfriend coming through. They're telling her to keep going, but it only makes sense if they don't let Devil's Ivy score any more points. And she's already gotten 2. Yep, 3, 4, all 4 for Devil's Ivy. Nope, only 3. Okay, JK. Bringing Wasatch up 69. Nice. And 50 for Elevated. So a 19-point jam, 19 points difference here. Elevated is doing work, but again, Wasatch they're giving up too many points to Wasatch to catch up right now. Beautiful Girlfriend, 78 Flipside says, yes, beautiful Girlfriend. We're all Fighting Girlfriend fans here. We do have Eve Hell for Wasatch again picking up lead. Holy moly. And Bamf out of the pack. Eve gonna get a couple of points here, calling off the jam. 2 points scored. Again, They want to hold Elevated as scoreless as possible, and Elevated needs to score as many points as possible. So this should be an interesting stuff. Resisting, so many people send me Slack messages for resisting the urge to ref from the announcer box. You know what? Once you start reffing, you really can't stop. Once you start announcing, you can't stop. I've definitely annoyed some pack people by narrating what's happening here. Another lead jam for Wasatch. I'm going to tell you guys how many when we get to halftime, but yeah. Most of the lead jams have gone to Wasatch. A pretty clean game, not too many people in the box, though I do think Booty Queen's sitting on 3. Gonna see 4 points of the first fast pack I've seen running away. So, Wasatch originally started as the high seed coming into this tournament when we scheduled everything, and now Elevated is the high seed. And Rocky was kind of just in the middle of those two. So this is interesting. This is interesting. Lost in your thighs on the line. Devil's Ivy for Wasatch. Again, another lead for Wasatch. Devil's Ivy. Nice hop on the inside line. 4 more points for Devil's Ivy. Kel's Inferno passed the star, so now Kel is your everybody heading into turn 3. Kel's Inferno gonna have a big recycle there in that far straightaway. Devil's Ivy does find finally some space to get those hips through in the inside line. Kel being held. You know, that's the thing. You want your pivot to get out as soon as possible. You want this call off, but they've got Devil's Ivy, they've got Kel's Inferno. I feel that Elevated may have been better served here by playing offense for their main jammer rather than passing the star. And obviously I don't think that pivot should have taken that star if they knew they couldn't run immediately away. We are going to have an official review, so I'm going to fool around with this camera some more. And yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to see if I have penalty information. I would ask Bill. He's my tech guy right now, but he's very busy being the head MSO, so hold on a second. So the scoreboard's telling us that Wasatch called the OR, but we actually don't know, and we're just going to have to wait for a ref to come tell us who actually called it because we didn't see the signal. This is interesting. So we have this game. We're recording this, so if the stream, doesn't end up working the whole time, that's okay. We are recording it. We will post it to Rocky Mountain Roller Derby's YouTube later. And we have some interesting information. So Wasatch did call it.
On white jammer, I think weight 8.
Okay.
We're skating out of bounds. White jammer
Okay, there we go. So, what had happened was Wasatch called an official review. They wanted a skating out of bounds call on the elevated jammer. I do believe that was Kel's Inferno. Yep, number 9. But Kel had tried to jump the apex, and that's allowed. That's not leaving bounds because you're intending to go back in bounds immediately from the air. That's allowed. So they lost the review. Review round retained. We got 4.5 minutes left in this first half. 84 now for Wasatch. 50 for elevated roller derby. So Salt Lake didn't come to mess around. A direction call on Booty Queen. I want to say that's number 4 for Her Majesty over there. Glow Job on the line for Wasatch. Fighting Girlfriend sent back out for elevated, and that's going to be Glow Job, your lead jammer for Wasatch. Fighting Girlfriend trying to push this pack enough to get it moving. Has the star in hand. There is 626. Yeah, last line of defense usually. That's witch slapped. But not the best at hanging on once she has caught somebody, so maybe we'll see some adjustments in the second half. Glow Job, really wants all 4. Yeah, gets 3. Holds elevated scoreless once again. Ouchies. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So, fun stuff. Albuquerque, I think, is at an even higher elevation than Denver. So as far as fitness goes, altitude. Tell me the altitude, Internet. Oh, no, they're about at 5,300. They're about 5,280 as well. So Albuquerque, also a mile-high city, just about. We've got ourselves a lead jammer. That is Banff this time. Good job, Banff. Knuckles on the line for Wasatch. Banff is through for 4. All right, defense, elevated, let's go. You got to hold Knuckles scoreless if you want to catch up. And Knuckles has already scored at least 2 or 3 of these points. 4 on the outside. Yep, right there on the outside. You got to commit to those hits, guys. You got to commit to those hits at the end. Banff, again, 4 more points, 4 given up to Knuckles. And we are going to see a knockout to the outside on Banff. A little recycle, but again, they recycled too far. And Banff is like, cool, I'm just going to juke that, which is what every good jammer should do when everybody stretches out conveniently and doesn't touch each other. Banff trying to come in again. Oh, nice juke there right behind the starting line, that jam line. Ay. And we're going to see a forearm call on a Wasatch blocker as Banff continues to score points for elevated. This is the jam they need. However, Wasatch still has given up 8 points so far in this jam. Ooh, nice side serve right through the pack. You gotta seam it up, guys. You gotta seam it up. Elevated now at 69 points. Wasatch at 95. So hopefully this is gonna be Banff giving them what they need going into the second half. 1.5 minutes left on this clock. (72) 22 points for elevated here. Highest scoring GM of the game so far. This is exactly the GM elevated needed maybe 10 jams ago. But they're doing it now, and we have to hope that it will help. It's still, again, giving up 12 points to Wasatch here, and 99 to Wasatch, 72 to elevated, 1 minute and 7 on the clock. Devil's Ivy on the line for Wasatch, and that is Meep for elevated. Again, elevated jammers are doing the work, but it takes blockers to play the game, and that is right there on the inside line. Ay, Devil's Ivy. In the land of Devil's Ivy. Lead jammer. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Appreciate you. Hello, Axel. Thank you. I do a lot of announcing. My name is Tchaikovsky. I'm happy to be here. Oh, nice. Devil's Ivy. On another scoring pass, however, Meep with 1 to beat has a star in hand. That is That is Booty Queen. How is this not? Man, she really is good at skating the edge of legality there. Hear that big call off from the Wasatch bench. They want to hold elevated scoreless, and they do. That is going to be 3 more points up for Wasatch, bringing them over that century mark at halftime, 102-72. We did see an official review called at the very end by Elevated. Will we get another jam? I think it really depends. Did they call it when there was still time on the clock? Unknown. So we'll find out. Elevated using their official review. Nobody has won one yet. Maybe Elevated will get lucky. And yeah. Shout out to all our officials, volunteers. Thank you so much for joining us. We're super glad to have you. We could not do it without you. Of course, support your local roller derby league. Support Rocky Mountain Roller Derby on Twitch. Icebox, Axel, Flipside, you guys are my favorites. Thank you for joining us in the chat today. So let's see what we find out. So if you're in the chat, tell me. Wrong answers only. Wrong answers only. Is this intermission? Oh, OR on WRD Jammer. That's a smart thought. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and have halftime. I don't think we're going to get another jam. Everybody seems to be switching. I'm going to stop streaming for a few minutes, and we will be right